You all have demanded a burger recipe. I am giving you a burger recipe. Welcome to Krocks in the Kitchen. I am Brian, and Jessica is behind the camera right now, because we are shooting this as what we lovingly refer to as Jessica style, which is where one person just films the other person and we talk through everything that needs to be done. You guys did demand that I get you the burger recipe from the last video, which was our sweet and smoky corn. I don't know, Jessica's got a fancy title for it, but that's the way I remember it in my head. Yeah, you demanded, and so we tested and tested and tested until I finally got a version of the burger that I am happy with. I am not saying that this is like the final version. This is like version 1, you know, of the tests that I have gone through, and I am very, very happy with how this turned out. We did multiple ways of cooking. We will get into that later, but basically, this is one of the best things that I think I've ever come up with. I am extremely happy with the flavors. I am happy with the texture, and I'm really, really hoping that you guys enjoy it as much as I have. But let's get to the ingredients of this recipe so you guys can make this for the 4th of July. Or if you happen to get this today, Canada Day. Happy Canada Day, all of our Canadian fans. Let's get to the ingredients. All right, first off, you will need 1 can of black beans. This is the no salt added kind that we picked up from Whole Foods, but this is 1 can that has been rinsed and thoroughly drained. That's why it's sitting on the paper towels there, because you want to remove as much liquid as possible from the beans as possible. After that, you will need some pumpkin seeds. We get these pumpkin seeds at Trader Joe's. They are raw. There's nothing cooked, no salt added, you know, all that kind of stuff. If you don't have access to this, you can pretty much use any other kind of nut or seed. It will work just fine. Just stick to what you can use. I don't know, maybe you can use cashews. I don't know how that would turn out. Maybe somebody can experiment and figure that one out for me. But I really like the pumpkin seeds for this one. After that, you will need some sun-dried tomatoes. Make sure that this is obviously not like packed in oil and all of that kind of stuff. You want just straightforward dried tomatoes. You can get them practically anywhere though. They've got these from Trader Joe's and this other one that we get from our local grocer, Deerberg's. Basically, yeah, you just want them not packed in oil, just straightforward sun-dried tomatoes. After that, you will need some black olives. Yes, I know, black olives. These have been drained. I did not rinse the olives, but I did drain them thoroughly and then just, you know, stuck them here to make them look pretty, because why not? That's what we do. After that, we will have some mushroom powder. You guys know that mushroom powder is one of my favorite things to actually use because it adds that great umami flavor without adding a lot of other things to a recipe. I like to buy these dried mushrooms from Whole Foods, and then I blitz them in our Vitamix, like a couple of bags worth, blitz them in the Vitamix, and then I just store them into a nice little lovely jar that I have marked mushroom powder on top. You can mix and match different mushrooms if you like. I just use these right now, these portobello dried mushrooms, but yeah, they work really, really well. After that, we have some oats, and we have 2 different kinds of oats here. We've got the regular, just rolled oats straight out of here, and we've got it also blitzed into a flour. Trust me, this really, really helps with texture, and it helps with binding everything together for the burger. After that, we just have our seasonings involved, which is some garlic powder, some onion powder, some cayenne pepper, and some black pepper, and that's it. It's really, really straightforward. But the way that you actually make this is through a food processor. And so let me show you how to get everything together so you can actually form those patties. So there are a couple of steps to actually making this in a food processor, and you need to kind of do things in a certain order. But trust me, the end product will be very, very good. Also, I'm just still gonna preface this. This is not going to come out as a like meat substitute. It's not going to be like a classic hamburger or like an Impossible Burger or something like that. It's not gonna do that. But what I will give you is a super, super tasty burger that will taste really, really good, especially with some stuff on it and some lettuce and a bun and all that kind of stuff. But let's actually get to making this sucker right now. The first thing that you will start out with is your pumpkin seeds, and we will need to turn these into a nice sort of meal consistency. All right, as you can see, pretty well broken up, but not into a fine powder. Now we are going to add our sun-dried tomatoes into this mixture. You kind of want to make sure that they're not like all in one corner though, so that way they kind of get blitzed up a little bit better. And then pulse to sort of break them all down and combine everything together. Perfect. After that, you will want to set all of this aside. So I've already got a thing ready. Yes, very, very simple. And now we got the food processor back, and we're going to throw on our black olives. Just get those in there. And the goal for this is to kind of get it to a paste consistency. So that way everything just sort of nicely combines together. You don't want it super chunky. And you will have to scrape down the sides. It is just how this goes. I need a spatula. Spatula. Just sort of scrape everything down and make sure that it's back in the path of the blades. A lot of this for me is just by the way that it looks, not necessarily about time or like how it's actually pulsed together or any of that. I go by literally how it looks to me. Come on, get up there. Never. I'd say that we're good here, and it's time to add in our mushroom powder. Now the mushroom powder, like I said, it's there just to add like some good flavor to it. It's kind of all stuck in there. And then I'm just gonna sort of pulse this all together to kind of get it mixed up so I don't just stir it with my spatula. Pretty simple, straightforward. Gets it a little bit drier. All right, now everything sort of gets combined all together again. So back with the pumpkin seed and tomato mixture. Get it in there. And we can add in the black beans as well. Black bean escape. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. All right, get all that in there. And now we're going to mix this together. Sure, like I said, there's multiple steps to this, but trust me, it'll turn out okay in the end. All right. And then finally, we are going to add in everything else, which is the oats themselves, the oat flour, and all of our dry ingredients as well. Gotta get all that out of there. And then there. That is it. Now, once again, pulse everything together until it forms a dough type consistency. You may have to stir the sides down or stir it up just a bit to make sure that everything's well combined. And there, that is now all good and combined together, which is exactly what we are looking for. You will see it is a very thick mixture, which is going to really aid us in the end when it comes to a good consistency for the burgers. But I'm gonna take out the blade. See, Jessica, I made sure I didn't cut it. And then after that, I'm gonna transfer this back into the bowl that we used to separate the pumpkin seeds and tomato mixture. And then we are going to chill it for at least an hour. But you can also chill it for 24 hours. You can keep it in the refrigerator for several days, as far as I know, and just sort of make burgers as you need them. But definitely you want to chill them. You don't want to go straight from this straight to cooking. You got to let those flavors sort of combine together, and you got to let those oats kind of absorb some of that moisture, and then it kind of all gels together and becomes really, really good. But here, I'm gonna stand up for this. Also, this will make 4 burgers as far as I am concerned. I guess you could make much smaller burgers, you know, like probably make like 40 beef-sized burgers, but you know, I'm not making these for him, I'm making this for me. Yeah, just sort of get everything out of there, put it into the container, and then I like to sort of push it all down. And there we go. So, put a lid on it and chill it for, graceful. Chill it for at least 1 hour into the refrigerator. Well, now what do I do? Ollie? Hi, welcome back. The burgers have sat in the refrigerator for a while and they have chilled and they are good to go, but we took them out and Jessica divvied them up into equally sized portions. Yes, they are all exactly the same weight. She was very, very thorough in this process. But you may tell me, hey Brian, those don't look like burgers yet. They look like balls. And that's because they do. They are balls right now, but we do have this lovely burger press that we picked up from Martha Stewart. And I quite like using this thing, although, you know, we honestly haven't used it in a very, very long time, but now it's gotten more use out of this last week than probably the entire time that we've had it since we picked it up. But I really quite like this because it's very easy to use. I took a bag and I split it up, and I just take one of the balls, put it in there, put another sheet of plastic on top. Now you can use just any sort of saran wrap or something like that, you know, any sort of plastic wrap, and it'll work exactly the same way. Just squish it down, make sure it's all nice and even. And then you've got yourself a nice little burger that is formed out into a patty. That's quite nice, eh? I like it. All right, I'm gonna do the rest of these and I'll be right back. So yeah, those turned out really nice. I mean, just look at that. They're all pretty and nicely shaped. I bet you could freeze these, stick them in a box and sell them at stores even. I'm not gonna do that as of yet, but who knows, maybe in the future that might happen. But now that we got them all portioned out, let's talk about cooking methods. So when I test something, most of the time I generally stick to one thing. It'll be like, I'm gonna cook with this particular thing, and then like that's what I go through throughout the rest of this. This was a burger, however. And so I wanted to find like the best way that I could cook something and make it all work and have the right texture, the right consistency, the right markings on the top and all that. So I decided after much testing that the griddler here was the best version of the burgers that we could come up with for cooking. We have the grill plates actually going right there, and it is heating up as of right now. So we're just waiting for this to heat up. But while we're waiting for that to heat up, let's talk about some of the other ones that we did go through. At first, I was cooking them on this. This is a grill pan. We've had this one for a good little while. It works extremely well. The burgers came out very nicely done. They obviously didn't stick because it's a non-stick coating, but it didn't, I don't know. I had a couple burgers fall apart because I was flipping them and that kind of stuff. So I didn't think that this was like the right way to cook everything, but you can if you want. It's perfectly fine. Also cooked them in the oven, handy dandy Silpat. We baked them like 350, right? 350, and they turned out really good. They didn't quite have the crust that I wanted for a burger, but it definitely turned out pretty good for the burgers. So if you only have an oven or you just want to use your oven to make a bunch of different burgers, that is perfectly fine and acceptable. So grilling outdoors on a actual grill, I did not actually get to because we just didn't do it. But I would suggest using some type of a grill mat if you have one. Wow, you're just making a ton of noise there, huh? Aren't you? Yeah, you are. Stop it. Stop it.
It's green now.
It's green, it's done. So if you have a grill mat, I suggest you use it because I think that burgers might fall apart if you have them on a hot grill. They might stick too because, those generally grills aren't like non-stick. Also, we used the air fryer, which actually worked really, really well. Of course, our air fryer, the Ninja Foodie air fryer, cooked it on our pan, our non-stick pan, and that was really quite nice. I'd say that was probably my second favorite. And then you can also use just a regular skillet if you want. I prefer non-stick skillets, but if you have something like a well-seasoned iron skillet, maybe you can use that and get like a really good crust on the burgers. But the griddler is now done, so let's actually get to cooking. Also, all of those methods and cooking times, instructions, and everything for the griddler, to the oven, to the air fryer, all of it can be found on the blog post linked below. Please go there. Jessica puts a lot of time and effort into putting that together and making it look amazing. All right, let's actually get to cooking now, because this is the thing, that makes it all come together and just works really, really well as a burger. This sucker is super hot. I can feel it. It's super duper hot. We're gonna do 2 burgers at a time right now. So I'm gonna put one right there. And I'm gonna put one right there. And then I'm going to tilt this down because it's the griddler, because it's magic like that. And just go ahead and push it down like that. I'm not gonna push down super hard. Just sort of let the weight of it rest on there. Press down into the burgers. And I'm gonna cook them for about 4-5 minutes, kind of to get a good crust on them, and trust me, they will turn out amazing. All right, we're at the 2-minute mark. We're gonna check them out. Ooh. All right, we're gonna let them keep cooking for another 2, maybe 3 minutes, depending on how they go. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so let's check them one more time. Oh, that is gorgeous. I'm gonna lock this in place so I don't burn myself. Look at that. That is just absolutely fantastic. And hopefully they just slide right off. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that beauty. It's perfect. All right, I'm gonna put them over here on this fancy plate that Jessica wants me to put them on too, because she wants me to be fancy. And then we are going to cook up the other 2 burgers, and then we're gonna chow down. So I'll be back in a little bit. So this looks absolutely incredible. Wait, why do I only get half a burger?
Well, I mean, we've tasted so many burgers today.
That's true.
We've been doing so much taste testing. We are definitely not going to lose weight today.
Definitely not. But along with this lovely burger that we have some of our garlicky kale salad with some carrots on there and some succotash. That's actually, we bought it. It was like a steamable kind of bag kind of thing.
I think it's from Trader Joe's.
Yes, Trader Joe's. It's got like it's got some corn and some red pepper in there and some like soybeans or edamame, whatever, or lima beans. Lima beans. That's what they are. They're lima beans. Yes. But yes, everything looks fantastic, and I think we should probably get to tasting this, right?
I did want to note the garlicky kale salad. We do have a recipe on that.
Yes, we do.
That was our take on Whole Foods garlicky kale salad from their salad bar. So if you want to try that, I literally follow the same recipe. I just added carrots.
Yes, but let's try the burger.
Let's try the burger.
So I did want to also remind you all of the ingredient amounts. I know I didn't give any for the actual cooking demo, but all of the ingredient amounts will be in the blog post linked below. Please click on the blog post, and Jessica will really, really appreciate that. But let's do this.
It's a lot to try to eat.
Mmm. That bun is really good too. But that burger.
Yeah, the burger.
I know you can't really see this, but I mean, like,
It's good.
it's so good.
It's got such a good flavor.
Great flavor. It's got a bit of chew to it. Once again, not going to be replacing actual hamburgers.
You're never going to get something that's going to like, everyone, I noticed in a lot of the comments, people were like, oh, I can't find anything that's like, you know, the right texture or whatever. Like, don't expect it to be. Just look at it as something new and fun. Like, don't expect a black bean burger to taste like a regular burger. Like, that's not the point.
And I know a lot of you are like, hey, there's tomato on that. Brian, you say all the time that you hate tomato. I hate tomato by itself. If it's like incorporated into something nicely like this, I am perfectly fine with that. It adds a little bit of it cuts through some of the richness of the burger itself and the bread. So
True. Now for the bun, these are the Ezekiel sprouted grain buns, but I actually prefer the Angelic Bakehouse sprouted grain buns that we've got. They're a little bit like softer in texture, I think. But you can find generally, you know, some pretty compliant to a whole food plant-based diet buns in the store. But honestly, these patties, I could just eat one with a fork. You had one the other day on a pita. I almost think a big, thick bun like this is too much because it distracts from the really, really good flavor of the actual burger itself.
yeah.
You don't need to add a bunch of stuff to this. You don't, I mean, I did this all like for fancy pictures and all that, but in reality, the patty, you could just crumble it over a salad and it would be super delicious. Like, it is just such a good flavor. So yeah, make sure you try the patty without anything else with it because you'll just like, I don't know if it's the sun-dried tomatoes. I don't even like olives. Well, I didn't used to. Now I'm sort of like lukewarm on olives, but like everything comes together and it's just
it doesn't
amazing.
taste like mushrooms, it doesn't taste like olives, and it doesn't exactly taste like black beans. It's just got this really nice umami salty flavor, a savory flavor, and it just works really, really well together. But as I stated before, this is just version 1. I am not done with this recipe as far as I am concerned, and I'm going to keep working at this until I get it really, really where I want it to be. But also, I'm going to use sort of similar techniques and stuff to make myself a breakfast sausage patty because, as some of you know, I absolutely love breakfast foods. And so if I can replace it with this type of a thing, I am perfectly fine having that every once in a while for a special little treat.
Yes, and if you guys didn't notice, Peep actually has a double burger.
Yes, he does.
Which Peep is known for only eating double cheeseburgers and with only mustard because he's allergic to ketchup, but that's another story for another day.
Yep.
But we're trying to get him to try out some plant-based options.
Yes. Well, I have a lot of editing to do to try and get this video up before midnight. So we can really, really hope. I got 4 hours to do it and I might be able to do it, but I'm going to finish this first before I do. Please subscribe to the channel. We really do appreciate that. Love the growth that has been happening recently with the channel. All of the new people who are watching, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We absolutely love having you here. Also find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Search Krocks in the Kitchen. That's Krocks with a K. And of course, like and share the video if you want to. If you really want to get this recipe out to some other friends of yours, please share it. And that once again helps people out. It helps people see that a whole food plant-based diet is not only something that can make you healthy, but is also something that can be super tasty as well. Well, that's all I got.
That's definitely all I got.
That's all Peef's got.
He's gonna dig into his burger.
Yep.
So we'll see you next time on
Krocks in the Kitchen. Bye.
Bye.